I just recently learned of a company in Dubuque, Iowa that hired tutors and set up a room where parents can bring their kids to do online school so that they can go into the office. And this is, I mean, that's so great for the parents that work there. So I want to ask Christine and MJ, both of you, what can we do to make things like this more common? And then Leslie, I'm going to circle back to you to talk about the parents who fall through those cracks and what we can do for them. So let's start with MJ. Sorry if hopefully I'm doing this fairly and equally.
No,
Yeah.
this is great. No, I think this is a great idea, and I agree. We can't wait on policy and those things take time. What shouldn't be taking time is that Congress should be acting now, and right now. Instead, I think we need to elect more multitaskers because it seems like often they are like a cat with a laser, and like right now everybody is focused on just the Supreme Court, which is important, but they are still not getting us the COVID relief bill that they need to be putting forward. And so, I think this is great that private companies that have reopened can and should help accommodate their employees. It helps with retention, it helps with company loyalty. But I think that Congress should be acting right now to support and incentivize these kinds of initiatives, and not just for the large companies and their corporate donors, but for small businesses as well. We need more parents legislating solutions to the problems that we're facing because of things like this. So it's not just about policy, but it's also about acting quickly. I'm seeing a real lack of the right voices being in, the conversation, and a real lack of crisis management during the pandemic. A lack of listening to objective metrics and data. I was trained in crisis management in the military and in healthcare. I spent 5 years working in healthcare. We used to be like, okay, if 65% of the ICU beds are full, then we're at code orange, and at code orange, these 12 actions, kick into gear. And it had nothing to do with, it took away the human error and the emotion and the subjectivity. And I'd like to see more of that in office. So there's a lot that I would like to see different. I think that we could do investing in building childcare facilities and workplaces, so that suitable education and childcare options are more accessible. But it's not just a matter of public grants and tax incentives. I think that smart companies are recognizing that investing in those on-site childcare for their employees isn't just the right thing to do, that it's an investment in their own workforce. But I think, providing resources to the co-ops that you guys have been talking about, I think after the pandemic, we're going to have a lot of work from home kind of as the new normal, even if it is post-pandemic, just because it's cost saving, and we've shown some companies can do it more productively. My husband works for Dell. They already do a lot of work from home. So maybe we need to be looking into providing resources to help communities build those kinds of co-ops.
Christine, how do you see us incentivizing these solutions?
So you mentioned Iowa and their unique situation with having. I'm sorry, you said Iowa has a company that hired tutors instead
Yeah,
of rooms where the
Dubuque.
parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
Iowa. Yeah, I know a lot about Iowa because they're one of 4 states that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce used as a case study for why childcare is an economic development opportunity. But there are many states, several states that lose about $1 billion in that. So, it's funny to say that we should adopt some of the practices of Iowa because they are a little bit of a no. I love the state, but there's just a little bit of a unique situation where there's a part of it that's a childcare desert, and there's a part of it that's 2/3 of it, which is extremely rural. So, I feel like any innovative practices that I even pose would be a band-aid. And I believe that in that instance where they're having tutors come on so that the parents can drop off the kids, that's a band-aid solution. We really need to think about, yes, we do have current issues, but we really do need to think of it, as MJ said, as more of a macro level. So I echo everything that she said.